What's up, y'all? It's time for another episode of Talk That Sport. It is a very special edition today because rocking with me again is CJ Jones, and we have a very special guest, Kelly Johnson from the Daily Grind. Y'all say what's up to the people.
What's up, y'all? I'm ready to talk some sports today.
Let's get it.
I love it.
For my listeners out there, CJ's on a 10-second delay.
What's up?
Super delayed.
Yeah.
Am I still delayed right now?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna click out and come back. All right.
It's all
y'all
good.
started.
No
Y'all do what y'all
worries.
gotta
Yeah.
We'll just rock with it. It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to all my daily grinders out there that tune in to Talk That Sport pod tonight. So I'm super pumped to overlap with our similarities and sports and whatnot. Yeah.
It'll be a fun one. If you haven't caught her latest episode, we were on there. We had a blast. We got to talk a little bit of sports, got to talk a little bit of life. A lot of fun. Yeah, thank you for having us on, and we're glad that you came on our show. And without further ado, let's get this show started. So we normally talk a little nonsense to kick everything off.
Always nonsense.
Always. So we welcome you into the Talk That Sport family. We want you to join in on our nonsense talk. So first, as always, we got to know what you're drinking.
White Claw. I was gonna go in with if you could get the Dream song cued in. I got my cranberry juice ready.
Oh, okay.
Oh man,
I feel you.
I love it.
Could do that, but
Jordan, what are you drinking today?
I got whiskey, as always. I actually have 2 glasses. I'm trying to get smarter about my whiskey drinking so that it's better for the duration of the show. So,
double fisted.
Yeah.
That's why the bottle.
See, I don't like it hot. I like to have ice. I need ice. Yeah.
But yeah, I got the not sponsored White Claw. You can drink it any
nice
time of the year. So
I like it. I like it. And CJ, I see you drinking on that Gentleman Jack again.
Yeah, and a glass of wine.
Oh, fancy.
All right. Okay. Well,
Fancy
how's your week been going? There we go. Yeah. So, Kelly, how's your week been going? How's life? How are you adjusting to, I guess we're past the quarantine stages. So now it's like life after quarantine. How's it going for you?
Yeah, things are going great. Just living the dream over here, I'm from Milwaukee area originally. I'm working remotely from Chicago, or I'm usually working in the office in the heart of Chicago, but I'm out back in Wisconsin, back in my hometown, basically. Things are going well. Not a lot of restrictions, or there's some restrictions. Obviously, you got to wear a face mask wherever you go. So, got to bring the wallet, got to bring the keys, phone, and a mask. So just living that type of grind. Otherwise, yeah, things are going well in work. I work at Wilson Sporting Goods. So we're the official football of the NFL and Super Bowl and whatnot, official ball of a lot of different sports out there. I actually on this pod I should be holding one of our props, but it's in the background, obviously. But yeah, I work on our tennis division. I'm a big tennis player, big runner. Hashtag Kelly Fast. That's my little slogan there to get y'all motivated, inspired to achieve your goals and whatnot. And then backstory: I am the host of the Daily Grind podcast, so we'll probably talk more about it throughout today's episode. But I'm super excited to bring my knowledge of sports and share it out there. So yeah, I'm 100% all Wisconsin sports.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, that was a big question. That was one of the questions we're going to ask you later on. Was like, we didn't care about anything else but what football you rooted for, but your jersey gave it away. And for those who are not watching the live stream, you should be. We start every week at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, you should watch the live stream on YouTube. But Kelly came on the show with the one jersey that us Cowboys fans cannot live with. Goddamn Packers. I'm sorry. I mean, that's early. Try not to. Look, Kelly, I was really hoping we talked to you a couple weeks ago that it wasn't. I was like, constant. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's not a fan of the Packers. Maybe she just was raised white.
Mhm.
No, but no, she's a Packers fan. And like they've broken my heart. Like I was a Cowboys fan since 2001. And so I haven't had too many good years, all right? So the 2 good years I did have, Aaron Rodgers broke my heart. On 2 impossible throws. It's impossible. No. There's never going to be time to root for him.
Yeah, he's broken a lot of hearts out there. I mean, I don't think he's no longer with Danica Patrick, for instance, outside the field. So that's a Debbie Downer on her end, but I think he's in a relationship with one of her friends. So that's great.
Aaron, listen to the brand. I love it. I love it.
So Kelly, I have to ask.
Sure.
Because this has to be like your only jersey that you own. Like that's the only excuse for you wearing that, knowing that we're Cowboys fans. And after the tremendous loss that we faced this week, I figured, you would have a little bit of sympathy for us and not wear the one jersey we would not want on the show.
That's a good point. That's a good observation. But I do own more than one jersey. I do own a Tom Brady jersey, but it's the Patriots one, so it's not like I wore it last year, but I couldn't wear it to the.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
I know. I was in between, but I was like, I don't know. The Bucks just lost to the Bears. Who likes the Bears? Ugh.
Tom Brady's my guy. Like you would have won me over completely for the rest of your life if you had came on with the Tom Brady jersey.
Yeah.
But no. As you can see, I'm rocking the Dak Prescott jersey for those of y'all.
Yeah. Oh man, God bless.
I know. My boy went down. He's out for the season. I have one thing to say, and this is the only way I'm going to be able to talk about Dak Prescott today. For all those people out there that wanted something like this to happen so that they can see Andy Dalton, you are horrible people. Because Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He is going to get paid no matter what. Your Twitter hatred for him does not matter. He is one of the most loved quarterbacks in the NFL, and we just saw him. Which, by the way, for all of y'all saying, "Oh yeah, he just wants his money. He just wants his money." The boy went out there. He could have slid on that play. He is fighting for extra yards to get the first down and broke his ankle. Dislocated his ankle, but still. Knowing that he did not have a long-term contract, he's still throwing his body all over the place to win a game against the Giants. Like, come on. Like, how can you not love that guy? So, you moved down a little bit on our scale of guests coming on wearing the Aaron Rodgers jersey.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We continue the trend of our guests keep trolling us. So we interviewed a couple people that have been. I'm a big UP fan. Like I'm. Look, if I could have went to Texas, I would have went to Texas, but I didn't have the time. The way my money was set up wasn't set up for Texas. All right, TCC was where I was at. TCC All-Star, but we had 2 A&M fans, and they let me have it every time. They're like, "Yo, you suck." I'm like, "Damn, you're still A&M." So, but we're gonna get Jordan off that rabbit hole because Jordan will go down that hole forever.
Yeah, I would.
Kelly, how did you what made you start the Daily Curve? How did you get into podcasting? I know we talked a little bit about it on your show.
Yeah.
What was your passion? What made you get there?
Sure. Yeah. Really great question. Podcasting, if you asked me this question like 5 years ago, not even on my radar, to be honest. So I guess I didn't say it in the intro, but I actually have my own nonprofit, the Kelly Johnson Foundation, and we provide support to local high schools in the Midwest on scholarship level and extracurricular support. So we award, since inception, we have awarded 13 high school seniors with scholarships, which is really great. So
nice.
Our target audience is that high school, college age, recent graduate, working professional that wants to, again, be motivated to achieve their both personal and career goals. So with the Daily Grind podcast, I had this idea in the back of my head, I would say last year, just because I started listening to podcasts at work in my own Daily Grind. And I was like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? Like all these people are doing podcasts. Like it's not that hard to do one, right? Mm-hmm. So I kickstarted last August with one of my coworkers. He was actually an intern at our work. We recorded 2 episodes, and then he just couldn't keep up the pace. Obviously, with me, Kelly Fast here. So I just continued the process, got going, did the Google search on what's the best equipment to have, what's the best mic, where I should promote and marketing, et cetera, et cetera. And here we are today. So yeah, the podcast really is underneath our whole entire umbrella of the nonprofit. And it's a really good, it's our official podcast of the brand, and lots of exciting stuff is up and coming. You guys are amazing guests that we have on the show. We have a lot of different guests from sports to business to health to education, all across the board. So yeah, if you want to learn more about the podcast, Instagram at Daily Grind Pod. We're on Twitter and we're across all platforms. So just search Daily Grind. It's got really cool blue logo and you'll find it.
Yeah, super active on Instagram too. So we've like ever since we became friends on the podcast, it's always been like Kelly's dropping some good like posts out there. I'm always into the show.
Yeah.
We have listened. You're going to season 2. I think episode 17 of season 2 right now, right? What's been the biggest difference between season 1 and season 2?
Yeah, lots of different changes. I changed the Instagram handle. We've got bigger and better guests on our show, lots of traction. I'm able to kind of get into a routine or schedule and posting content and releasing episodes. So we have Motivational Mondays. So I take the quotes, the amazing quotes that our special guests like CJ and Jordan have had on the show, and post on Monday on Instagram, and then Tuesday release. So every Tuesday we get a new episode. Sometimes we have those double header weeks. So I bring on people onto the pod when we talk about different sports. Actually, on the double header ones, we talked about lately Roland Garros, the tennis tournament. We had double header on predictions. I invited one of my tennis enthusiasts out there to talk on that nature. But yeah, just going to a more routine. I've been pretty consistent. My first season, I had a few episodes where I was just a solo person on there talking about motivational content and whatnot. But yeah, to date, we've had every week. I haven't missed a week this year so far, and I'm not taking any breaks for the holidays. So yeah, so we're on quite the grind. We got some cool products launching this fall. So stay tuned for that. Couple stickers, mugs, goodies. It's on our website. Actually, the online store is up and running. But yeah, it's up and running. It's like a pre-order right now.
I think we've been there. We've been with the merch part side of things before.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely have to put our order in for something. Speaking of that, I saw on Instagram
Wonderful.
You posted that nut butter. What's the name of it again?
Wanna Date. Yeah.
And so like it's like 3:00 in the morning. I see this post, and I'm like telling my wife, I'm waking my wife up like, bro, I gotta order this. Can I order 12? Do we have 12.50 where I can order this right here? And she's like, why would you gonna do that? I'm like, it looks good on my raisin toast in the morning. I just really. Yeah, so it was
good. Yeah, it was good. It was a Shark Tank brand. I watched the show Shark Tank, and that actually inspired me to just keep on bettering myself on the pod and whatnot. And she was one of the brands that was on Shark Tank. I bought a couple different products on there. I don't buy every single one on each episode, but I like to support locally. Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. I love Shark Tank. That me and my wife watch that all the time. Anytime we can get it on MSNBC. So yeah, definitely. Like, if you don't watch that show, like, oh my gosh, like you gotta watch that show.
It's great. It's super motivating. You guys got Hard Dallas. Obviously, you got Mr. Mark Cuban. You probably run to him on the street or whenever you're out and about watching games. So that's pretty cool.
My dream has been for Mark Cuban to be my business mentor. I've hit him up on Twitter a couple times and he hasn't responded. So, but he's very active. So I'm hoping that one day he gets a hold of me and like, yeah, I'll take you under my wing and we'll work together. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely working towards there on guests. I've interviewed a few people, professional tennis player too.
Yeah. See, that's awesome. Yeah, I know I've listened to your show a couple times, and I've really enjoyed the people that you bring on, and I love their stories. Like, I think that you do a great job the way you set up your interviews, because I know me and CJ on our show, it's a lot of, nonsense, and we just go back and forth with stuff. And yours, I remember when you originally asked us on and everything, CJ was like, do we have to answer all this before we get on? And I was like, no.
That's a lot of questions.
It was like, no, she's just actually more professional than us and sets it up in a way where she actually has to list the questions and everything. But it's awesome. Yeah, I think you have a great show for all our listeners out there, if you haven't checked out the Daily Grind Pod, tune in. A lot of great content. You get to hear a lot of interesting, motivating stories. So if you need a motivation Monday, turn on her podcast. It's great to listen to. So I know we talked briefly about you being a Packers fan, which breaks the heart of every person in the state of Texas. But tell us a little bit about your sports journey. I know you played tennis, but I mean, what other sports do you get into? How did you fall in love with sports? How did that journey kind of take place?
Definitely, really great question. Love talking sports. So, I've just been a sports fan. I'd probably say Wisconsin sports. I think we used to have Packer parties at my parents' house when I was younger. So I grew up in the tailgating scene, to be honest. Again, Milwaukee Brewers, MLB. We did a lot of tailgating back in the day too, just going to games. I'd say, I don't know, a handful of games each and every year. And then I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison for undergrad. So, Big Ten's really fun. We had college game day. So shout out to throwback to, I don't know, 2011. I was actually in the back when Coach K was making all the predictions against Wisconsin against Nebraska, and he put the Nebraska Cornhusker hat on. I was like, dude, man, you're totally wrong. And Wisconsin won that game. But yeah, like we've had a really great stretch for UW-Madison. But yeah, playing sports, to be honest, I played soccer throughout my younger days, played a little bit in high school, played tennis in high school, went to state, ran track. In college, I was on the club tennis team, so I got to travel all over. And then now, after graduating college, now I'm just, your typical local league player. Into tennis. I'm a big marathon runner. I was supposed to do the Boston Marathon this year, and it got canceled twice. I qualified with my time, so I'm hoping hope it goes up and running for 2021. But just through my current work and just what I do, I love watching sports. I love the game day stuff. Now I'm just following NFL, NBA. I've been to a few Bucks games. I always wherever I travel though, always got to wear my Wisconsin sports. Never a bandwagon fan. Never.
All right, I'm cool with that. So now we can get on some better stuff in Wisconsin sports. How bad did Giannis choke away? Right?
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. I'm going there. She wore a Packers jersey. I had to tag her.
Yeah. See, I was gonna wear his jersey, and then I realized like I don't want to be, I don't want to be asked so many questions about our unfortunate season this year. So that's why we're undefeated right now. So knock on wood, we're gonna keep that train going.
When Packers jersey came out, like, okay, we gotta go Bucks. We gotta ask them.
Yeah,
Bucks. Yeah,
is Giannis coming to Dallas?
The stressful questions, but yeah, Giannis, he had a really good stride. Unfortunately, he had some injuries towards the end of it. You could tell his ankle wasn't holding up 100%. I would say, to be honest, we just need a new coach. He's really our coach Bud. He's a really good coach for in season, getting to having a really great record and everything. But when playoffs come, just like shit falls apart. Excuse my language.
No, so you're pro shit contest. Go back, guys. We good.
CJ has broken every cuss record you could think of on a podcast, so you'll be fine.
Yeah. So to be honest, I feel like Giannis is going to stay in Milwaukee. I think he's made a home here for the most part. I think our franchise is able to support him at least, but he does need supporting players around him too as well. So I'd be open to making trades. For instance, like we don't need Milton, but we could have someone that's better than him or other people. Our bench had to hold up a few games. Again, too, it throws back on the coach's side where he wasn't maxing out Giannis's playing time out there when he should have.
Yeah.
You go for it.
I was just going to say, I will say that I do think that there needs to be some additional help in Milwaukee, and I feel like they're wasting Giannis's career. Chris Middleton is okay. I know he's an all-star, but he's an all-star in the East, which is like a discount all-star. I'm going to be completely honest. Like you look at the competition in the West compared to East, it's way different. And you look at the talent they put around him. They put a lot of players who are past their prime with Giannis, and they're wasting away his talent. I think one of their I think they messed up letting Malcolm Brogdon go. I feel like he was a solid role player that you could have had on your team, and he was young. You get guys. I mean, you look at the starting lineup alone. You have Eric Bledsoe in there. He aging, and he never really lived up to the potential that he had in the NBA. You look at Brook Lopez past his prime. I mean, Chris Middleton. Like I said, he's okay, but he's really like a third or fourth best star on a lot of the other teams that you would put him on that are top tier competitors. So I feel like with Milwaukee, they have to do something this year. So I'm interested to see how they handle this offseason, because if they don't make any changes, we're going to see a situation kind of like with LeBron in Cleveland. Cleveland did the same thing with LeBron and wasted, 7 years of his life like playing for a Cleveland team that never was really giving them the talent to actually take this team to the next level. So I think it really comes down to this next year. And if they can't put the team around him, I really think that Giannis might be going, seems like Dallas, where, you have an owner that's
players.
We have really good neighborhoods in Frisco, not 20 minutes away from the practice facilities, great school districts. I mean, look, I know Giannis has a little baby. Dallas is one ass Dirk. We love Dirk.
Some Greek cuisine.
Yeah.
Huh?
Some Greek cuisine.
Yeah.
We got some good. Look, I got a nice place right down the street. All the falafel and don't worry about it. It's good. It's good. And Dula's. Do you know Mama's restaurant, Jordan?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm extra right now. But
so
Jordan brought the LeBron thing. Do y'all have to? Oh, my bad, Kelly. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel confident that Giannis will stay on the Bucks for another 2 seasons at least before he gets traded. I just feel like he's still in the mentality of a Milwaukee Buck player. But Chris Middleton, he was just kind of cold during the playoffs. Like he could have played better or his usual self. The last few games, thank God, I went to like 2 games in February and March right before the shutdown to see him play, and he was playing 110% better. So we need someone we just need to fill the roster better. Like for instance, like a Chris Paul or someone else. We just need.
He's available.
Yeah, exactly.
And I honestly think that would be a great pairing. If they can get like Bradley. I don't know if Bradley Beal is necessarily the right pickup. I think it's going to be a playmaker. I think it's going to be like a guy like Chris Paul. I don't know. There's not a lot available this offseason.
I want Giannis to be my playmaker, and Giannis needs somebody to hit threes. All right, and Bradley Beal can fill it up real quick. All right, so that's what I want. But if not,
we have a
playmaker in Dallas. I reiterate, we have a playmaker named Luka Doncic in Dallas. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kelly. I'm sorry.
I mean, that pick and roll game with him and Luka would be sick, awesome, right? It would really be awesome.
Either or, we got 2 7-footers. I'm sorry, we're just okay. So, but Kelly, you understand? Life as a Mavericks fan since 2000 and what? 10?
Pretty much. No, I would say 2013.
2013. It was LeBron. It was a decision year. 2010 is when it started. So from 2010 to about 2016 was like, maybe this year we get somebody, and we don't. It came to a point where we were watching for Hassan Whiteside. Hassan freaking Whiteside. So so right now we're on the radio this morning. Every show was talking about Giannis watch 2021. So
we got the luxury of getting, the whole trade to work out Luka coming here, and then 4 months later you get Kristaps in a trade, and that trade is looking like genius unfolding because you give up Dennis Smith Jr., who's probably going to be out of the league in a couple of years, and DeAndre Jordan, who was gone off the Knicks last offseason, and Wesley Matthews, who was also gone off that team, for Kristaps and Tim Hardaway Jr., who are both starters in our lineups and are the 2 and 3 best players on the team. So it's times are really high here in Dallas right now, so we want to continue to build off that. We honestly feel like Giannis would be the perfect.
Jordan, don't talk about DSJ like that. Don't disrespect DSJ like that. We love him. All right, shout out to him.
I do. All right. He made a great trade piece.
Roland Garros happened last week. All right.
Yes.
Once Serena pulled out with her Achilles injury, I tuned out. Until the final matches, all right, until Joker and Federer, and at this point, I've watched enough tennis. I have people. I'm a person that's loyalist, right? I pick a player and I stick with them. Serena's my woman on the women's side, right? And when Serena retires, it'll be probably Naomi, all right. And then on the men's side, At men's I was Sampras when I was younger,
Okay.
and now it's been Federer for a long time,
Mhm.
and I hate Djokovic. Is this conversation really worth having between Joker and Federer? I know Joker's a better all around player, but
Mhm.
Federer's been so dominant, especially at Roland Garros.
Yeah, or Nadal. So yeah,
Nadal,
to be
yeah.
yeah,
Thank
sorry, that's
you.
okay.
I was
That's
like,
okay.
are
I was
you
like,
just
I was
about
right.
sorry.
I'll let you speak. I'm not gonna cut in, But yeah, the unfortunately the women's women's singles championships. It was I'd probably say I haven't looked at the data, but it's probably one of the lowest viewed finals of a Grand Slam. To be honest, you have an unranked player, Iga Swiatek that won. She just came out of nowhere. She's a Polish women's player, first Polish to win in X amount of years. She never broke. To be honest, though, I don't discredit any of her accomplishment whatsoever. I mean, she didn't lose a set going into the entire tournament. She's an unseeded player. She had a huge win over Simona Halep, who was a favorite to win this tournament. And then she beat number 4 Sophia Kenin from the U.S. So that was pretty good wins on her end. So I think her ranking, I think she bumped up to like top 20 or something, which is incredible coming from an unseeded background. Sophia, on the other hand, it's too bad. It's really unfortunate from us from the U.S. that she lost. But on the back end, though, like she's that's great. It's really good up and coming. I'd say she's more reliable than a Coco Gauff, to be honest. I can expect her, or I can see her, she's more stable in her game and compared to like a Sloane Stephens or a Madison Keys. She has lots of potential to do well in these upcoming Grand Slams. So I'd keep her on the radar for Australian Open if that goes on, knock on wood again. Hopefully it does, because they canceled some of the New Zealand and Australian like small challengers earlier for 2021, because they have their COVID situation's completely different than us. But yeah, women's side, I was rooting for Serena all the way. I really want her to break the record against Margaret Court in number of Grand Slam titles. I just really want her to win and just kind of push it through. To be honest, though, if you look over the past couple of years, she's one of the few players that consistently makes a semifinal or a final. Yeah, she's like right there every single time versus all these other players and on the women's side that just are not consistent at all. So yeah, it was definitely a wild west when it came to the women's singles. So on the men's singles side, though, again, don't discredit any of Rafael Nadal. What his accomplishment, that's number 13 French Open title, which is huge, surpasses everyone's record, I think, on just a particular Grand Slam number of title wins. He ties now Federer with the 20 Grand Slam totals year to date. So it's kind of ironic, year 2020, we got Fed with 20 and Nadal with 20. Djokovic, on the other hand, kind of stabbed himself in the back coming off the U.S. Open. We're hitting a ball of hitting a fish with a ball. Like, you just never do that. So he's already had a chip on his shoulder. A lot of fans out there are following, the Feds and the Nadals, but Djokovic is kind of like that third tier, basically. And now he just probably lost how many fans after that tournament. But yeah, I was really hoping for more than 3 sets in the finals for the men's side against Nadal and Djokovic. I was hoping to at least go to 4. Nadal's been so consistent on clay court. It's insane. So that's his bread and butter. That's his go-to. That's where he grew up on clay. So again, I expect him to do really well in 2021. But to be honest, though, Djokovic did have a tougher schedule, a tougher bracket going into the final. He played Stefanos Tsitsipas. Like, he's expected to do super well. They went to 5 sets before Nadal only went to like 3 sets the previous match in the semis. So again, it's just kind of it was like Nadal was meant to win this tournament, to be honest, which really sucks, because you don't want that to happen. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, I love watching Nadal play. Like, I think that he's. Yeah, I think that Nadal is amazing. I'm more into women's tennis. I don't really know why. I guess, I don't know. I guess, okay. Why?
We grew up. We came from little fun fact about us. Like, we tell you on the show. We come from a tennis family. My auntie played tennis. Like she was a really good tennis player. She's a tennis coach at Cedar Hill High School. Shout out Grinda Coleman. All right. But
Nice.
she was a really good tennis player. She tried to get us to play tennis. It was one day on the tennis courts with like 5 children, and she decided none of us were good enough to play tennis, and we stopped playing that day. Like literally, she was like, "Oh, y'all are not disciplined enough for tennis." Like she didn't even try anymore. She's like, "Y'all done. We're not doing this again."
Yeah.
So we watched a lot of like tennis growing up, and then for me, it was like Venus and Serena. So like it was good to see somebody play. Like on the men's side, we didn't have that until Blake came along.
James Blake.
But I had a question about that. When it comes to men's, like so on the women's side, we have a lot of young American talent, a ton of young American talent. Why is this happening on the women's side versus the men's side? We see this happen in like a lot of women's sports, soccer, tennis, where the development of women players in America is more developed than the men's players. Why is there no up and coming male U.S. player we hearing about?
Yeah, really great question. Yeah, to be honest, that's been the trend. I'd say since like a James Blake, Andy Roddick, so circa early 2000s. Andy was like the last like really good American player. Now we only have like Francis Tiafoe, Riley Opeka, John Isner. So we don't. You can tell all the trends on all those players. You got big serve, not too much with a well-rounded game. So that's the problem. So it comes to junior development, going down from what academies they're training at Florida or California or one of the warmer places in the U.S. And it comes to be honest, like. From your own experience, so you said you stopped playing tennis because your instructor said that you sucked, basically, to put in simple terms, and like you're not good at it. And I was like, well, it's all based on the instructor and coach. It goes back to that. I did, to be honest, like just a short comparison. I did gymnastics when I was younger, when I was up to like 6 or 7. And one of the times I went to the place and they said, oh, I'm not strong enough to lift myself up and do some flip or something. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to quit this. So it's all mentality and going back to that coach instructor and having that positive environment. So to be honest, like going back to the men's side, we just don't have a great facility. The U.S. Tennis Association is working on that. They got this really cool 100-court campus in Florida in the Orlando Lake Nona, which is right next to Orlando. So they're making some improvements on, developing that junior player into more like now a lot of those American women players the younger ones are training over there. So we are seeing more of the women's side utilizing that, but now we need to get the men, those younger guys coming into that program basically. And again, getting those high level coaches and able to, work on strategy, not just, the big serve, the chip and charge type of thing, but, have that overall well-rounded game like a Djokovic player has. So it comes down to coaching, I think, a lot for the men's, and that's where the ball goes at this time. So we're hoping to see like a turnaround this stuff. Next gen wise, we got it's not US but Canadian. Jens Shapovalov is kind of breaking through, so we're hoping to see similar players. You want to have luck too on, for instance, Sofia Kenin. She actually was born in, I think, Russia, and then she moved to the U.S. and started training in the U.S. when she was younger, like, I don't know, under 10 years old. So maybe we can get lucky and get one of those guys that was born somewhere else in Europe and come over here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think in the United States,
at
we're
this
in
point,
a
I'll take
situation.
I am really behind.
Yeah. I do think that in the U.S. the issue comes down to parents and the roles that they play in their children's sports development, because I'm already thinking about when I have kids what sports my daughters are going to play and what sports my sons are going to play. And I know for my sons, I've been telling my wife this, like, one, for football, I don't want them to get hurt, so it's going to be quarterback or no position at all. Because I'm also like, where's the money go? And so, quarterbacks make a lot of money. So, yeah. So it's like quarterback in football, or you can go play basketball like I loved to play when I was younger, or you can play baseball. And that's kind of like the path that you take. And then with women, a lot of it is like, you have the WNBA is coming up, and there's a lot of young stars that are coming into the league now, and you see the development train because there's been a huge push for the WNBA. But for the longest time, it's been, if you're a woman, you're playing volleyball, early on you're doing gymnastics, you're doing tennis, a lot of sports like that. Soccer, you're doing soccer. Because those are the people that you see on the largest stage doing things. Because you can point to, the women's soccer national soccer team. You can point to, some of the stars in the WNBA. You can point to, people that are, just all those people. You can point to them. And, so I feel like that plays a huge role in, kind of where you kind of go to when you're developing your thing. And for when we talk about it, there's nobody in men's tennis from the U.S. where you came from that you can point to. Hey, yeah, look up to that guy. Yeah, it's not there, and so it makes it harder.
Yeah, and I'd say too, like, and if you're gonna ask the question, like, oh, what about the collegiate level? So, for instance, like, if you look on a lot of different schools, for instance, even from my alma mater, University of Wisconsin-Madison, like, basically the men's team, it's like 100% foreign players. So that's another problem too. Again, it goes back to that junior level. You gotta have really good junior side in order to go up to, if they go through the college system or university system, to go on one of these bigger schools and then have that training regimen and whatnot, and able to balance that, and again, have that motivation, support from your squad, basically your parent, your coach, family, friends, etc., in order to excel at the pro level.
All right, so am I caught up yet? Can you hear me? All right, I'm still behind. All right, but we're gonna ask this question anyway. All right, so like on the women's side, we know we have we have Coco, we have Sloane, we have Naomi, we have what's the girl from UCLA? I can't remember her name, and she's one of my favorites. Big serve. Went to like round 4 ranked at the U.S. Open last year. Dang, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
Taylor Townsend.
My tennis knowledge is failing me right now. But Taylor Townsend. All right, there we go. Okay, my auntie has been with Taylor, and my auntie loves Taylor Townsend. We both love her, right? But she's undisciplined, and she's not going to get better if she can get disciplined in her game. She doesn't play short shots very well at all. But she'll play them. She's like a men's tennis player, like an American men's tennis player. So, who do you think after Serena's done? You think we got like 2, maybe 3 more good years of Serena? Who do you think is going to take that mantle? Everybody think it's going to be Naomi. Is there any other person you think that can actually go up there and take that mantle?
Really great question. That's a question for a lot of us out there. So yeah, I would say Naomi's probably. I would say I couldn't narrow down to one person because right now. You can see women's tennis, it's very inconsistent on who wins all these Grand Slams. Naomi is definitely in the mix for sure. I would say number 2, Sofia Kenin, actually. So US side, I see her doing well. I really do. She has that motivation. She has that drive. She has that, comeback energy, enthusiasm when it comes to these matches. Like, she's been down, she's been broken, and she's able to go make it a 3-set and win. So I feel pretty confident about her playing style. And then I'd say last but not least, I'd say Bianca Andreescu. She's a Canadian. She won was it US Open last year? So I see her in the mix. I think she's 19 or 20 or early 20s. But with her playing style, I mean, she's injured right now. I mean, like, she's like a tentative because she is coming back from an injury, or that's why she didn't play in Roland Garros or the U.S. Open. But I could see her in the mix. Depending if she's able to stay healthy, I could see her winning a lot down the road.
See, Serena is my favorite tennis player of all time. I love watching Serena play. And when Ionescu beat her last year in the U.S. Open, I was so upset with her. I could never root for her again in my life because, like, she beat down Serena. It wasn't like Naomi when they were playing each other. It was kind of close in the U.S. Open 2 years ago. Ionescu beat Serena down. Like, she made it look like she looked like the 20-year vet, and not the second year on the tour. So, like, for me, I was an embarrassment. I was upset. So I can't. I agree. She's good. I can't root for it. I can't do it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just answering the question here. I love the Williams sisters too. So it's gonna be a struggle. Like, eventually, I'm probably gonna cry once they retire from the sport.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Venus is still rolling out there, right? Because I've been waiting for Venus retirement ceremony for the last 3 years. But Venus still going. And when she got to the finals a couple years ago, I was there watching. I was like, yo, let's go Venus. Because Venus is my girl. I rooted for Venus first. I hated Serena for about 5 years. I was like, can't stand you. But now I'm off Team Serena. I need her to get that 24. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I love the Williams sisters. I think they're a really great inspiration to the sport, U.S. Americans out there. Yeah, I grew up with them too, likewise watching them. Have had the opportunity with my job to go to the U.S. Open a few times. I went to Roland Garros last year, so I wish I could have went out this year. I'm hoping to go to all the Grand Slams eventually, so hopefully I can go to Wimbledon next year. I'm targeting. I was supposed to go this year, obviously, but got canceled, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And
so I will ask you this, Jordan. I know I'm taking over this. This is tennis.
CJ, it's only funny because it's like such a delay in your responses.
It's so
sorry.
bad.
Okay. So listeners, I know that like for those of y'all tuning in on the podcast, I know that you can't. Our Aaron Bird, who is amazing, is going to clean this up and make it sound like there's no issues. But for those of y'all watching the YouTube stream, you can hear how bad this delay is with CJ over there. Because you'll start talking and then 5 seconds later, he'll jump in with something. It's hilarious. I'm sorry. He's going to hop off and try and hop back on and see if that fixes it. But for now, so you know that we're really huge proponents of women in sports. We always have been. We didn't have sisters growing up, and we talked a little bit about this on your show. And but we were just really passionate about it, and we just have this weird feeling that a lot of us are going to have daughters. I want a daughter. I didn't have a sister growing up. I want our kid to have a sister. So when the opportunity presents itself, we want them to be able to be involved in sports just as much as we like being involved in sports. So with that said, so on our show, we normally do, a Women Ball 2 segment, and I'd like to pretty much dedicate this entire show to it. But on that topic, I really want to do a special kind of whose jersey we're rocking. This is another segment we do on our show where we highlight somebody in a sport of our choice that you saw and was making a difference. Whether it was on the court or off the court, that, really inspired you this week. So with, what you do on your pod, I want to do a very special segment, one dedicated to all the women out there, but two, to the people who are really, your motivation. So with that said, let's do a whose jersey you rocking. So I want to hear whose jersey you rocking this week. What is some woman out there that has been doing some amazing work, whether it was on the court or off the court, to just move the sport forward, move life forward?
Yeah, definitely. I love this segment. Super cool. Really cool shout out. So I'm gonna stick with the women's sports and whatnot. So I would say she's not big like a star by any means, but she works on the back end of the WNBA. Jenny Fisher. So she is actually currently the NBA digital and social media person. You probably have heard of her. She's a Marquette alum, storyteller. She's like Marquette. So yeah, go Milwaukee and whatnot. But she actually she's been utilizing her platform, obviously, on Twitter and other social mediums in regards to raising money for supporting a lot of different causes out there. In particular, just being able to support suicide prevention awareness, which is really cool. And she's kind of creating this whole campaign, basically. If you search her on Google, to be honest, she has a really cool backstory as well. Last year, she when everything was opened up, obviously, she did like a bus tour basically to all these different WNBA teams or college campuses with the women's basketball, and interviewed a lot of different players and coaches and asked about their backgrounds, diverse backgrounds, inspirations, what their motivation is for the game, things of that nature, who they look up to. So I'm just kind of paying it forward on that aspect, and hopefully get this message across to anyone that is in that realm or struggling from that or know someone that is. But yeah, I kind of got connected to her. I'm hoping to get on the pod soon, but
shout out.
Shout out, I guess. Shout out to Jenny out there. But my good my good pal, another podcast guy, Colby Castillo. He hosts the podcast Sports as a Job. Working sports as a job, and he interviewed her and has a lot and reaches out to a lot of these people that have similar interests in that sports arena and help create this awareness. So I guess my jersey goes out to Jenny out there. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Yeah, let's just go around the room. CJ, I know you just hopped back on, so we're doing a special because we're shouting out all our women out there who are making a difference on and off the court. So whose jersey you rocking this week?
Since I wasn't prepared for the segment at all, because Jordan runs audibles all the time, we're going to celebrate somebody who in their 17th season just won their 4th title, and their name ain't LeBron James. Mm-mm. It's Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe. All right?
Yeah.
The cutest couple in all sports right now. I love Megan and I love Sue. And I used to hate Sue Bird because she went to Connecticut. That's a whole different thing. But now she's Seattle. Her longevity in her career and what she's done for the Seattle community has been something that I've loved to see from her. And how she could have left Seattle 4 years ago when they went to like Tankville and got Breanna Stewart and Jewell Loyd. She could have left and went somewhere else. She could have went to LA. She could have went to Minnesota. Her options were open. She could have went back to Connecticut. But she stayed and rebuilt, and now she's won 2 champions in the last 3 years. Could have possibly been 3 in a row if Breanna hadn't got hurt and Sue had got hurt last year. So it's definitely Sue Bird. It's not like we got to honor greatness when you see it. She has no intention of retiring soon, so she will be the longest tenured WNBA player after next season. So if she goes year 19, she'll be the longest player ever played in WNBA history. And she says she's going to play to 45. Which I can see it. She stays good shape.
Yeah, she's incredible. I got to actually, because we had the All-Star game in Chicago, I didn't get to go to the actual game, but I went to one of the days beforehand with the WNBA had like a practice, like open thing session to, again, support the community, support girls out there that want to get into sports, not just basketball. So I actually got to see her play and whatnot for a little bit and shoot some hoops. So yeah, stellar player, incredible career. She keeps on going, which is amazing. It shows like, oh my God, I can still, run fast when whenever I'm her age. So that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Well, for my whose jersey you're rocking, CJ knows I normally don't go by the rules. I always throw audibles out there. So mine is not actually
every
player.
time, G.
Yeah. But shout out to Nina Hisia. Hopefully I said the name right. She is the first woman athletic trainer to win an NBA title in any major sport, in any major men's sport. So this is a huge accomplishment. So I want to recognize her on our show during this segment. She won it with the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's just another, glass ceiling being shattered that it's ridiculous that it's having to be shattered in 2020. You'd think that would have happened 20 years ago, but it didn't. But it's amazing nonetheless. So shout out to her and all the work that she does. We actually have an uncle that's an athletic trainer with Ole Miss. So they are very important to the team and what they do. You see what the players go through and put their bodies through, and these people have to be sharp and on it every day in their field. So I want to recognize them when we can recognize them, and I really want to highlight, women as because I like equal treatment, and I know that sounds weird. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise. So I like equal treatment, and I want. But it's almost ridiculous to me that we have to have segments like Women Ball 2 and have to, highlight women in this aspect because they just don't get attention in national media or just in general. And they put their lives on the line, their bodies on the line all the time. They do all these jobs and all these roles. And yet it's kind of like a niche thing that we do. And it's not something that's just normal. And I want to get to a place in society where that is normal, because I work in a women-dominated industry, but it's completely fine when they see me walking in and, you know, doing my job. But when women walk into an industry that is dominated by men, it's completely different. And so I really hope that we get to a point where it really is normal and we start to see, you know, where we can just have conversations and just, I don't want another, I mean, I do want another Nina Hsia, but I want to get to the point where we have gotten past all of the Nina Hsias and we're to the point where it's just normal to see, you know, women doing these things. We have women's coaches in the NBA. We have women's coaches in football, you know, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like your genetic makeup shouldn't hinder you from doing a specific sport or serving in a specific role. That's just my opinion, but I really want to get to that point in life.
Mm-hmm.
So we have.
Yeah, shout out to Becky Hammon.
Yeah, shout out. Hopefully she gets a head coaching job here soon because she's better than half of the assistants out there. This is the year for her to do it, if possible, because there's plenty of positions open in the NBA that haven't been filled yet. But we'll see. Yeah, you have guys like Steve Nash who hasn't coached a day in his life that's getting a coaching opportunity. So,
man, I should just apply. I'm kidding. I forgot to mention on the tennis segment. I actually I coached college tennis I think I mentioned on my pod. Coached for a couple of years, men's and women's. So I definitely can. No, I have that coaching background in philosophy, so can take teams to nationals and, you know.
All right, the Pelicans need a head coach.
Oh, God, New Orleans.
Yeah. Okay, so we have about 7 minutes left, and I want to do something here, okay? And so what I want to do is, because I know you're very into, you know, the daily grind and motivation and, you know, getting the best out of people. And I have a passion for that too. So I love it. And so what I really want to do is take this time to talk. I know you talked about your foundation and what you do there, but I really want to know kind of for our listeners out there, because, you know, we have mostly sports people and people that listen to sports, but, you know, people have jobs and people have lives to do. So as we get there, what are your suggestions for us taking the next step in this world? With election season here, we have, you know, a very divided country and things going on. What are your suggestions for us to kind of move forward as a people?
Sure, definitely. Yeah, really great question. So during this time, we're in October, so crazy, time flies, right? So my biggest thing is not just with my current job, but just even outside of work too, or with all the stuff that I'm doing in my own daily grind, just managing stress, to be honest, is super key. So it's whether things that you follow or what you do in your own daily grind. I think it's really important to be able to just manage that. And that comes to, for me, not getting stressed at what I do at work, working remote, so I'm not able to see in person, but I'm on screen more hours than I want to, or I have stuff like, you know, my to-do list is keep on getting longer, but I'm not crossing anything off. So my suggestions are, or if you're stressed about like this whole political notion or just events that have gone on, COVID, things of that nature, just to kind of, you know, focus on yourself and self-improvement and self-care. So going back to that stress point, I do a lot of stuff to as stress reliever. So I like to work out. I like to play tennis. I've been doing a yoga every morning to help, you know, get stressed out, kind of, you know, zone into myself, you know, have everything just tune out of all those distractions right away and feel a lot better about myself. And then throughout the day too, let's say Twitter blows up totally during election time and this time of year in general, just cross industries and whatnot. So whatever platform you're on, just like, you know, turn off those notifications or things of that nature. Talk to your network. So whether it's your family or friends that you haven't seen in a while, reach out to them, whether it's a message on Facebook or a quick call. People love to hear your voice and love to be inspired or motivated. Reach out to people that you love, people that you support, people that you haven't heard from in a while. During this time, I've been able to rekindle a lot of relationships with people not just in my area, but all over the place, and make new relationships as well. So reach out to people in your network, people have similar interests, people that love sports. Hey, if there's another Dallas Cowboys fan out there, reach out to them. You'll definitely share smiles and possibly share wins in the future. So I had to throw it in there. But yeah, just like I'd say, manage that stress. So do what you love and do what you enjoy, and don't feel bad about it either. So like I take time out of my day to work out or go on a run or something, and I after I do that, I feel 100% better. So do something that you enjoy, whether it's reading or some other hobby, watching sports. Who knows? Do your own daily grind and don't feel bad about it. It helps you overall do well at work or just in whatever you're focusing on, basically. So that's my motivation and speech to you listeners out there.
Kelly, that's why I am officially a grinder now. All right, I'm on par with you. I love this. I'm embracing the brand. I am part of your crew forever. All right, so we're gonna my fun part of the segment. All right. We're going to get to know you on a personal level, all right?
Okay.
We're going to ask some crazy questions. Not really crazy.
Oh, man.
I really didn't pick these up. Okay, but the place I get these questions are, there's a place with 10,000 questions to ask on the first date.
I was like, speed dating. Let's go.
Yeah. It's pretty hilarious, these questions. But I'm going to ask one that's not on this list. Because you said earlier you got into podcast. You started listening to your own when you're at work. What podcast are you listening to? Like, which one of your favorite podcasts?
Really great question. So I've been just keeping adding to my playlist. I mean, Talk That Sport is like one of my favorite podcasts. So obviously plug in for you guys. That's not even a biased answer. But yeah, I've going back to that whole Shark Tank business entrepreneurship thing. One of my big podcasts I just tuned into is How I Built This. It's NPR. Guy Raz.
That one.
So yeah, he talks about how businesses start up. I think that's really interesting, and people come from all different backgrounds too, which is super incredible, and it's super motivating to see other people in various industries do their own thing and see how far they've accomplished thus in their career. Yeah, I'd say that's another one I've tuned into a lot. I listened to Joe Rogan on the earlier days before he signed that contract for Spotify. Now I'm kind of tuned out to him because his interviews, unfortunately, are like super long. So I can't get like focused in on them. I need the good 45 minutes to an hour approach. Yeah. I think that's ideal. Last but not least, I would say a third one. I mean, the list could go on and on, but Snacks Daily, which is Robinhood Snacks. Okay. They're a finance podcast. They got little, basically bite-sized pieces on what the market's doing, what companies are IPOing, what's going on, the consumer trends, things of that nature. I've actually got featured on that podcast a few times from some of the snack facts I provided. So little plug there, but yeah, Nick and Jack, they're really great co-hosts on that show. And again, it's not like boring. It's interesting. And it's about like 15, 20 minutes long. So, I guess last but not least. Yeah, I was like, last but not least, my daily grind.
Yeah, there you go. Well. Like, that's my favorite podcast, Daily Grind, right now, right? Yeah. That's really no bias. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to lie. When Jordan asked us we get an interview about Daily Grind, I was like, I've never heard that podcast. Yeah. And then slowly but sure I started listening to it because I'm a big podcast person. And like I like especially podcasts I find like 20, 30 shows I can just listen to and just relax. And I can just listen while I drive. So like when I found Daily Grind, it was really good. All right, so but that is pretty interesting. We really do love it. So hey guys, listen to the Daily Grind. Become grinders, please. Grinders. Followers.
Yeah, like I listen to I probably get. There's so many people that message us saying, "Hey, listen to our podcast." And I try to listen to as many as possible, but honestly, some of them it's really hard to listen to. Yours is very easy to listen to, so I'm glad we found you.
All right. Speed round. Here we go. Aaron, we're going over. I'm sorry. I love you, Aaron. I'm sorry we're going over today, but we're doing it. Kelly, what ingredients do you like on your hot dogs?
I would say ketchup, mustard, and a relish.
Ooh, good
pickle too.
Yeah. That's me. Yeah.
Good combinations. All right, what's your next big adventure?
Big adventure. Yeah, I want to go to Wimbledon next year. So London. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I'm jealous. I'm really jealous of you right now. All right, last but not least. Actually, I forgot what the question was. I really did. I can't find it. It's not on my phone anymore.
I have it. I have one. Okay. Okay. One song. What's your favorite song to listen to, jam out to in the car every day?
Ooh, I got a lot, but what's the theme of this year for me is I Just Want to Shine by Fitz and the Tantrums. It's like super, pump up, just kind of like slow key. I'm in the zone, but I could list like it depends on the situation. I mean, if I'm running super fast or if I'm just casually hanging out at the house or at a bar, like definitely depends on the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. I love it. All right. Before I pass it off, CJ, I just want to. You found it.
There it goes. No, okay, never mind. I know it's delayed again. I'm sorry, I apologize, guys. Okay, here we go. Where can the people find you, bro? Where can the people find you at?
Okay, here we go. We got the Daily Grind. So we are at Daily Grind Pod. You can find Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatnot. My own personal, yours truly, at Kelly J Lefty. I'm left-handed, so that's pretty easy. Kelly J Lefty. Instagram, Twitter, all over.
Love it. Real quick, for all my voters out there, election season has started. I know that the lines are long. Hang in there. Your vote matters. Your voice matters. Do not just vote for the presidential election. You're voting for congressmen and women. You're voting for judicial seats. You're voting for your mayor, your council people. Get out there and vote. Do your research. Vote for the people that are going to have your voice in politics. Please take advantage of this opportunity. And it doesn't start every 4 years. This is a thing that you will do every year. Look out for when election seasons open in your area. Please take advantage of this momentous opportunity. We are in a democracy. This is not a dictatorship.
All right. Jordan had it right. All right. Vote, people. Vote. I can't tell you more vote. Thank you to our wonderful producer, Aaron Bird, for making us sound lovely as always. Thanks for Oni Music for giving that kick-ass intro and outro music. And Jordan, if you could do me a favor and do the thing.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, listeners. We'll see you.